All right, GMGM guys, it's another time to learn from Faith, our own mentor here. If you're building, I believe you're building with Thirdweb. We're learning a lot. We'll be learning some new stuff with Thirdweb, and we've been hearing about x402. Um, so this is just about payment protocol for agents. Yeah, Faith, what's this x402? And yeah, over to you.
All right, thank you. So, GM everyone, good evening. X402 is the Open Payment Protocol that is HTTP based, and it's built on top the previous HTTP code 402 status code, which is for payments, which means payments required. So this HTTP 402 status code has been built a long time ago, like since I think 1999, in the 1990s thereabout, and hasn't been used or utilized until this X402. X402 means this extended 402 open protocol, payment protocol that helps to turn this HTTP 402 payment required status code into a real on-chain payments flow. So what it really does is that it gives access it's to your agent to make payments on your behalf. So if you are running some agentic projects and you have some AI agents working behind the scene, it helps them to make payments on your behalf. So in the normal context, payments have been designed in the way that a human is meant to be involved in the process of making that payment. So there was no protocol supporting agentic payments whereby a human is not required at the process of making payments. And with the kind of microtransactions that are being run with AI agents, you cannot be available for all these payments to approve each payment. It can be cumbersome depending on what you are running or what you are building and the kind of access these AI agents will need in bundling your application and all of that. So this payment protocol is a way that enables this AI agent make payments on your behalf without having to even create an account or sign up in any of these API platforms. It just helps to just send the payment, get the data it needs, and populate it back in the whatever you are using that data for. So it helps to make payment easier, streamlined, without the need of a human being involved in the process of making that payment. So it is very good, very useful for all these large building an application that needs multiple APIs that will be reading from, getting those information, making those payments, and makes it easy without a human being involved in the process. So X402 is majorly used for agentic payments, making payments easy on chain, and you can virtually pay with any currency. It can be fiat, it can be cryptocurrency, it can be native token, it can be a design token for a particular protocol, blockchain protocol as at that. So that is the whole concept of the X402. Yeah, making payments easy. All right. I hope that was I hope that is clear enough.
Yeah, it is. It's
All
clear
right.
enough. Just
Thank you very much.
um, so guys, if, once again, help us to share the space for more people to benefit. So we're having Faith Life on the section, and she's going to take us into x402 and looking at Thirdweb. So she will do some little bit hands-on session, and look, you heard it. We don't need any API keys for this. This initiative has been there, but it's kind of revived right now, and we use stablecoins to interact with our wallets again. So you want to know about our speaker? Her name is Faith Roberts. I can call her Mama. She's a Web3 developer. That's her name actually, and advocate. Um, she's passionate educator. She has been building the next iteration for the internet. She has a keen interest in decentralized technologies. She's an advocate for blockchain transformative potential across diverse sectors and empower developers within African ecosystem. So she's doing a whole lot in the ecosystem and work with some notable protocols. And she's a mentor in It Global, you know. So we're having her more of this. You can't wait for our It Global launch. And yeah, so that's another show. So Faith, you have the floor. So please teach us more. We're here to learn. And have a nice time.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay. All right. So this is an application built using the x402 standard, using the Thirdweb example. And I'm just going to run through the application quickly so you see how x402 works, how these automated payments work behind the scene clearly before I explain the code. All right, this is just a normal connect button just to connect to the account that will be making this transaction, that will be performing this transaction. So I connect a wallet. So I'm just going to connect a wallet that has the token I want to use for the transaction that I'm performing in the network I'm performing. So this is a very simple button, from the example, make a paid API call, and I added this disconnect button in order to, just make it look a little bit aesthetically pleasing and to disconnect the wallet in order to connect another type of wallet. I I leave the console open because I want to see what is going on, and I want you guys to also see what is going on. And I'm hoping that you are all the devs are like advanced and understand what I'm talking about. It's not so complex in the console, right? So I'm going to make an API call right now. And then we can see that it has populated the transaction. So this transaction right now that I just made, this process that I just clicked this, in a normal scene it can be you, but in a normal scenario it will be your AI agent that is making this call. And once it makes this call on your behalf, it gets the information. Now this is the response That is just the response, premium content, right? This is the data that you get when you make this API call. That's just it. And so once it gets this content as a response, you can decide to display it on your front end as you please. You can save it to states, save it to context, you can send it to your back end and hold it in your database and use it wherever you please. So this is a very, very simple application showing how X402 works. So now how do you replicate this? First of all, you need to create your account on Thirdweb. Let me see. Yes. All right, so this is my account on Thirdweb created, and so you can start by creating a new project if you want. I am not going to do that. So here you input your project name, and then the allowed domains can just be localhost. If you have an already bought domain, you can input that domain. So it is only via that domain that people have access to using this, to interacting with this project through Thirdweb. So once you've gone ahead to create that, it is going to generate your information. Let me use this. So it's going to generate a client ID for you. So you are going to copy this client ID. You are going to also copy your secret key. And the next thing you are going to copy is your address. You're going to copy your wallet address that is generated for you. I think I have it here. Sorry. Okay, so your wallet address that has been generated for you, you're going to copy that. And then the next thing you're going to do is, after copying this wallet address, you're going to fund it with the tokens you need, you want to interact with. So whatever protocol dealing with Celo, you fund it with your Celo tokens that you'll be using for the transaction, your USDC, your CNGN, your CUSD, whatever token you want to allow in your application, that is what you'll be funding it with. And then the next is your, once you've gotten this wallet address, you've gotten your API keys, your secret key, and your client ID. The next thing for you to do is generate, sorry, okay. So the next thing for you to do is generate your application. So it can be your React application, and also this is a React application I generated, and because of how slow it is to do all these processes, I can't do that on the call. Yeah, so this is a normal React application. Okay, this is a normal React application, and then I created the env file, as you can see. So yeah, I'm not using this, so that is why I left it exposed. Okay, so these are the information, your total secret key, your client ID. Make sure to prefix the client ID with next public, but your secret key and your server wallet do not need that. And then the next thing is you have to create an API file called route.ts. And then very, very simple, just go through the very, very simple example by Thirdweb. So in the client server side, this is what is going on here. Okay, so it is important to create the Thirdweb client from Thirdweb facilitator settle payment. So for this to work, right, you need to do some importations, and you need to import Thirdweb to your application. So it's very simple. do your npm install Thirdweb or pnpm install Thirdweb, well, whatever you choose, right? Yarn, add Thirdweb, whatever. Now you create your API file, like I said, under the app folder, and create your route.ts, and then this information is copied. You copy this information here and paste it here. Now let me quickly go through this. Let me zoom a bit so you can see. All right, so now this is what is in my route.ts. So first thing, I have all these imports. This is the settle payment function that helps you to settle the payments on your behalf. And this is the facilitator that does the whole back and forth of verifying the payment, verifying the token you have in your wallet to be sure that you have the amount, and to verify the signature before the transaction goes through and the response you are trying to get from that API you called is gotten. Okay, so this is the facilitator. It's imported from Thirdweb x402. And then we have the create Thirdweb client imported from Thirdweb. And then you're importing Celo. That is the chain you want to interact with. Okay, so due to this being a Celo hackathon, you import the Celo chain. You want to support these various chains, you can do that also. To create your so to this client, and then it has this secret key. This secret key is the Thirdweb secret key you copied into your env file. So that is what you'll be passing in here. Okay, and then the next thing is to create your facilitator. Now this facilitator, like I said, is what handles your payment. So you can see here, it creates a facilitator for x402 payment protocol. You can use this with settle payment or with any x402 middleware to enable settling transactions with your Thirdweb server wallet. Okay, so this is how you create your facilitator. It requires your client, which is your secret key, and then your server wallet address. That is your wallet address in the Thirdweb server. Okay, so it's also copied in your env file. So this is where you generate this to. Now you're going to create your get function, your get request, and this is how simple it is. Cons payment data, this is the headers that needs to be populated in your request. Okay, so that is it. Currently, the current implementation has handled a lot of things behind the scene, abstracted a lot of things for you, so you do not have to go through so many routes like how it was some few months ago, even way back as 2 3 months ago. Things have been much more simplified right now, so you just copy it. The only thing you need to change is your resource URL. So because my code is just live on localhost, that is where the API lives. So that is why I'm using this. So your resource URL will be your localhost server slash your API, because that is where you're going to get that is the request you are going to make. That is where you're going to make the request and get response. And then the method is get. But mind you, if you are going to send information out, then you know that this will be post, right? And then your payment data, that is the populated headers. Now your pay to. This pay to means which address will you be receiving the payment. So if some AI agents are interacting with your projects, right, what address would those payments be made to? Like in my demo, once you make this paid API call, once you click this button, an amount is deducted, right? So when that amount is deducted, it will be sent to my whatever address, and this is the address. As you can see, it's the same with the server address, and this is the amount that is being deducted and sent to me. So that is what this part means. You are going to replace this with your address, your server address, or whatever address you want to use in receiving the payments that these AI agents are making to access the information from your API. And then you're going to replace the network with the particular network you want to interact with. And here is the price. You can preface it like this. You can add the $sign on it. You can also use this method where you create the amount and you put it in the way figure, the assets, the address of the token, whatever token you are using. Like if you're using CNGN under Celo, or USDT under Celo, or any other token under Celo, you get the token address and put it here, and then the decimals of that token, I'm sure it will be 18 decimals, and then this will be the amount in way that you want to be removed upon creation, upon call of that API. Okay. Now, if you just prefix it like this, it means you want to spend in USDC. Automatically, this will spend in USDC. Okay, so this facilitator is the Thirdweb facilitator you created. And that is it. Console.log this. If the status is 200, that means everything is good. It should return this information, premium content. Else, then it should return the error, the status code, and the result it got at this point. Now, if you do not have enough funds in your account, this is going to return the 402. This is going to return this error 402, which means a payment is required for that transaction to happen. So if you do not have funds in your account, or if you do not have the correct network funds available, you will see this pop up: payment is required. And as long as you've not signed a transaction yet for the payment to be done from your spent from your wallet for this, you will also get these error codes. Okay, so now this is just everything for the server part of it. For the client part of it, you just go straight to, I just did this in the page.tsx, and yeah, it's also in the documentation. You can see under the server side, the client side, sorry. This is what you need. Okay, and then if you are using there's this part that does a little bit deep dive. So click this. If you are using the TypeScript version, this is what you would see, right? Wrap fetch with payments and all of that. A little bit different, but does the same thing with the hook created for the React. All right, so this is what this part is doing, right? I imported wrap fetch with payments from Thirdweb, create clients from Thirdweb, wallets from Thirdweb wallets, connect button, and all of that. Now we create the Thirdweb clients. This one, you are using your client ID, okay, because this is the client part of things. And the next thing is you create the function that handles the API call. All right. So now with this example, you can see that with this example, there is no point where you can choose the account you want to connect with and all of that. And that was why I imported wallet, connect button, and use active wallet, because I want to have that luxury to choose what wallet I want to work with or what account I want to work with. Must not just be a Thirdweb account and all of that. So yes, this handle API call is taking in the wallet parameter here. Okay, so I console.log this to show if when wallet is gotten in, when the argument is gotten in, I want it to return the wallet address that's connected to this, just for troubleshooting sake, though it's not needed. And then fetch with pay, const fetch with pay is equal to wrap fetch with payments. It adds the fetch method, the client ID, and the wallet. So this point is where um, everything gets populated for it to get sent. Then your response is going to await this, await fetch with pay, and then you impute the route where you are making this call. Okay, so this is /API, your localhost 3000 /API. So you just input your /API, that's what you change, and then you await for your response to come in a JSON format. And then all this is just me doing just testing and troubleshooting some things, so you can take care of this, it's not needed. And then your function body. Now, like I said, because of I wanted some flexibility with the wallet, I used this. So const wallet is using wallet, and I make a check to see if there is no wallet connected already. It should create a connect button and allow the user to connect to the site. But if there is a wallet already, it should just return this button, the button of make the paid API call, and this disconnect wallet, just in case you want to disconnect and reconnect another wallet or stuff like that. All right, so this is the button, handle API call. It's calling this function here. So once that button is clicked, this is going to run. Once this button is clicked, make paid API call, this is going to run. So that is what is happening behind the scene of this simple application. Okay, so this is how you you create it's very simple x402 application that gets, once your API gets called, you get paid for it before the information is sent to the user who has made this call. All right, so that is it for this. Is very, very simple and explanatory, like I said. Now, another thing you should remember is once you have imported this, if you are starting a new React application, like I said, it's very heavy to do all these processes on the call right now due to the time. Once you have started that new React application, you import your Thirdweb into the application. Also make sure that in your layout, you have your Thirdweb provider. Okay, if your provider is not available, your code is going to run into some errors. So make sure you have your Thirdweb provider wrapped around your body, or the items you want to give, you want to provide context of the provider to. Okay, so do that and make sure you create your API routes. where your information of the API, the token that is needed, the amount that is going to be spent, the URL of your API, where all these are being populated, and then your button that handles the entire logic. So that is it for this. This is very, very simple. I used the Celo USDC for my payments. You can use whatever you are comfortable with. If you can check the playground here, this is a playground for x402 payments. Under the Celo network, you can see a lot of tokens you can use: USDT, USDC, Sweat, WET, Message, GCL, Celo, Mouse, BTC, whatever you are using, USDM, CAUD, CNGN, PUSO, whatever you're using, you have to copy the address of that token, okay, and replace this with this method. So let's say we are going with CNGN. Going with CNGN, this is what is actually going to happen behind the scene. It's going to request 0.01 for you to access the content. Now, this is the server code. So it's going to pay to this address. Now, this is how you populate it. The price will be in this form, where the amount is whatever amount you put in here, and then the asset is the address of the CNGN, which is OSE and ends in 71. You can see it's OSE to ends in 71. And then you can add your decimals, making it 18. But I don't think it's very needful, because, like I said, this current version, after the change logs have been done, a lot of things have been abstracted in this function, settle payments. All right, so that is it. That is how easy it is to set this up. And I think the final thing I want to handle is, for those, if you are going to have like a lot of API calls, and you need to set up this for each of them, you can use the middleware approach, where you can set up a lot of APIs. For this, I think is here. Yeah, middleware. Okay, so to protect multiple endpoints with a shared middleware. So once you have like various endpoints you would be using, it will be appropriate to use this method, where you can just protect a lot of endpoints at the same time, instead of generating for each of your endpoints the route.ts file. All right, so that is it for this. That is how easy it is. If you need help with the coding, the troubleshooting, and all, then can reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, guys, that's just it from Faith. I have this security question. I don't know if there's any contribution from Sadiq. Oti, do you have a contribution? Etete, do you want to add to this? Well, before you guys
No,
come in,
I haven't got any
on
contribution.
the side of thing, uh, if I should ask, what are the main attack vectors? Something like, example, fake 402 responses, You can have like an attack that are replaying. So how does Thirdweb, you talked about Thirdweb, you know, server wallet set up or mitigate this, calls, maybe high volume of agent calls, malicious um, calling. Is there any security? Is how does Thirdweb, kind of like help us with this attack? So any of you guys can just contribute, and we should be wrapping up. So after this session, OT will be coming up in the next 10 minutes. We just go for like 10 minutes break, and we'll coming up after this. But that will be on a different link, so just stay tuned with us. For everyone who is joining us, wherever you are, thank you for tuning in. For the hackers, wish you all well. You just have less than some hours. By 10 a.m. tomorrow, you should have submitted already, if not now. Remember to tweet and that. All right, Faith, you want to answer that? Who want to contribute that? So we end.
Yes, let me say a little. So, well, there will always be attacks in
Can you
all
hear me?
of
Can
this.
anybody hear
But can you hear me? Sorry. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me, but like I said, in the blockchain space, especially on chain, there's always like these vulnerabilities available. But then, what has been done to mitigate most of these risks is the gas fee that has been implemented as a as one of the use and one of the importance is to help with all these kinds of DDoS attacks and all of that. So it gets to a point where you definitely run out of gas, right? Before you can cloud or scatter the network with your request. So I believe that method is also applicable in this. Once that request gets sent multiple times, at a point that account will run out of gas because every request being made is being paid for, right? So every request being made is being paid for. There's a gas fee associated, there's a gas cost associated with every request being made. And it is made in a way whereby your agent can perform lots of actions, like so many actions at the same time for you without you being there, right? So at some point you will definitely run out of the account will definitely run out of gas, which is going to mitigate that kind of attack. So I don't know if any of my bosses have like more things to say, but that is what I believe is one of the ways to help with that kind of um, vulnerability.
Okay, thank you very much. That's interesting. So, guys, I've come to the end of this session. Thank you for staying, tuning in. We should be back in the next 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Uti will be taking us on the next session. Just going to do some. We're going to look some real cases on you know solutions on with AI agents. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We should be back in 10 minutes.